She literally never lets me have my time to shine. Hi book besties, welcome back to my channel. I'm Angel. Grab you a snack, a juicy drink, and let's yap about books. My fun juicy drink is a Dr. Pepper. This is not a Dr. Pepper. My fun juicy drink is a Mountain Dew. Anyways, as you've probably seen by the title, today's video I will be recommending thrillers that I think you should read in the fall, and also a few thriller books I will be reading in the fall. I am going to make a full fall TBR video, but as you know, or if you don't know, you're about to find out that thrillers is one of my favorite genres, so I thought, why not make it a whole separate video, especially because I have yet to make a video dedicated to thriller recommendations. We're just going to do that all today. In other words, I will be trying to convince you to read these books with just a few sentences, but okay, in no order in particular. I'm just going to be pulling books. Starting off, we have The Chain by Adrienne McKenty. I feel like this book doesn't get talked about enough. Like, it's so good. And let me just read the back for you. It says, you just dropped your child off at the bus stop. A panicked stranger calls your phone. Your child has been kidnapped. The stranger then explains that their child has also been kidnapped by a completely different stranger. The only way to get your child back is to kidnap another child. You are now part of the chain. When I tell you I was on the edge of my seat the whole time, this was incredibly fast-paced, and it's one of those books that make you think, how far will you go to protect your child or the people that you love? And yeah, I had such a fun, wild ride with this. It puts the thrill and thriller, and that's all I'm going to say for that one. And then we have Salem's Lot by Stephen King. This book is much more slow paced than the book that I just recommended, but this is extremely atmospheric. It has a haunted house, and it has a very different take on vampires than the vampires that we see today. And the vampires that we romanticize, we see them as the evil, vile creatures that they're meant to be. So if you like that eerie feeling, just waiting for doom to hit, I definitely recommend this book. Again, it's not very fast paced, but Stephen King just has a very unique way of telling a story, and it's just a good time. And then we have The Last Word by Taylor Adams. I feel like all of his books you can easily read in one sitting. Well, I've only read 2 of his books, but they've both taken place in the same night. So we're getting hourly updates of what's going on. It's so fast paced. This book, it's about Emma Carpenter. She leaves a review, a negative review, on a poorly written horror novel, and then shit hits the fan. Okay, because the author did not like that. Not one bit. And she's beginning to realize that maybe the stories that he writes are true, and she might be his next victim because he might be stalking her and trying to get her now. This is a wild ride. And then we have Not So Perfect Strangers by Ellis Stratton. This is by a Black author, and it's a story about Tasha Jenkins. She's trying to get away from her abusive husband, and in the mix of that, she runs into Madison Gingle, who's also in a marriage that she'd very much like to get out of. So these two women decide to help each other, but they have very different views on what that could look like. And that is all that I'll say, because I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but this was so good, and I did not expect it to go the way that it went. One of the reviews on the back says, a deliciously devious cat and mouse game between two strikingly different but equally magnetic women as they duke it out for justice, revenge, love, and power. This one keeps the reader guessing until the very end. Yes, they did not lie. I then have Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney. This one wasn't my favorite by Alice Feeney. Again, this was only my second book by her, but it takes place on Halloween, and you can't really get more atmospheric than that. So this is about a family reunion that leads to murder. And by the synopsis itself, it's giving very atmospheric. Okay, it says, Daisy Darker's estranged, secretive family is assembling for Nana's 80th birthday party in Nana's crumbling Gothic house on a tiny island. Then at the stroke of midnight, as a storm rages, Nana is found dead. An hour later, the next family member follows, trapped on an island where someone is killing them one by one. Okay, now that I'm thinking about it, I really did enjoy the plot twist. I think I did not see the plot twist coming at all. We then have Clown in a Cornfield. This was just made into a movie. I haven't seen it yet, but I definitely want to watch it this fall because I feel like it just fits the vibe. If you're a fan of slashers like Scream or Fear Street, it gives me those vibes because it takes place in Kettle Springs, and they have a weird clown for a mascot, and basically that clown will be killing people left and right. So yeah, that basically sums that up. This was fun, especially because I am a lover of slasher films, so I can't wait to see it on film. Then we have Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak. This book really sold me because of the pictures. I'm a sucker for picture books. I don't care how old I get. I love me a good picture book. But these pictures, they're not just your regular pictures, okay? They're kind of spooky. Let me find one for you. Yeah. Kind of spooky. So this story is about Mallory Quinn. She takes a babysitting job for Ted and Caroline's 5-year-old child, Teddy. Immediately, they bond right away, and things are normal. He's never without his sketchbook. He's always sketching these trees, rabbits, balloons, regular things, until one day she notices that he drew something different, and it's of a man dragging a woman's lifeless body. So that's extremely different. And these drawings just keep getting worse and worse. And it says, Mallory must decipher the images and save Teddy before it's too late. This one is another one that keeps you guessing, and I feel like it really just fits the Halloween spooky vibes. There's even a Ouija board in here. So yeah, this one I don't think you can even begin to guess the plot twist. I know people either love or hate it. I'm in the middle, but it was a fun time. And I'm someone who just loves to have a fun time. Like, sometimes it doesn't even have to make sense, but if I'm having a good time, it's okay, you know? But if I'm having a bad time and it doesn't make sense, it's just horrible. And then we have Gray After Dark. This is about Miley. She takes a summer job at a mountain lodge. It's very remote in the wilderness in the middle of nowhere. And there's local lore about a staff member that died years ago. And she kind of just brushes it off, and it doesn't scare her, but it should. She's been taken and held captive. This one was so good. It's a bit slow in the beginning. I think like 70 pages in, it definitely takes a bit to get into the meat and potatoes. But once we get there, we're in it, and it's fast paced from then. And this one will have you on the edge of your seat wondering, is she going to make it? Okay, those are the 8 thriller books that I recommend. Now let's get into the 8 thriller books that I'm so excited to read this fall. I feel like they're so good. They're so good. Okay, first up we have The Haunting of Hill House. This one I'm sure many people have already read or have probably already seen because there is a Netflix series. I haven't seen it, and once I read this, it definitely will be one of the shows that I'm watching this fall because I cannot wait. Plus, I feel like the actress that's in here, I need to look up her name. By the way, I have on my Nightmare on Elm Street shirt, so I'm in uniform for today's video. Okay, let me look up this actress. Victoria Pedretti. I hope I'm saying that right, but I feel like most of the films and TV shows that I've seen her play in, always good. So I trust it. I trust that it'll be good. But okay, it says, it is the story of 4 seekers who arrive at a notoriously unfriendly pile called Hill House. Dr. Montague, an occult scholar looking for solid evidence of a haunting. Theodora, his light-hearted assistant. Eleanor, a friendless, fragile young woman well acquainted with poltergeists. And Luke, the future heir of Hill House. At first, their stay seems destined to be merely a chilling encounter with inexplicable phenomena, but Hill House is gathering its powers, and soon it will choose one of them to make its own. Guys, that just sounds so good. I'm loving the haunted house vibes this year, so very excited for this. I need to go to a haunted house ASAP. And then we have Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, another popular one you've probably read or seen already. I have not. This one I don't know too much about, and I kind of want to go in blindly, but I hear it's kind of like a sci-fi thriller. I could be wrong. Like I said, I have no idea what it's about, but sounds good. People seem to love it. I need to see what the hype is all about, so I'm excited to finally read this fall. And then we have Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. This is another haunted house thriller, and I'm so excited for it. And I've heard great reviews about this one. This will be my 4th book by Riley Sager. So yeah, I hope I really like it. It says, no, why did I just get lazy? Because it kind of looks like a lot. Kind of looks like a lot to read. Why did I get lazy? Okay, so it says 25 years ago, Maggie Holt and her parents, Ewan and Jess, moved into Bainbury Hall, a rambling Victorian estate in the Vermont woods. 3 weeks later, they fled in the dead of night, an ordeal Ewan later recounted in a nonfiction book titled House of Horrors. His horror memoir of ghostly happenings and encounters with malevolent spirits became a worldwide phenomenon, rivaling the Amityville horror in popularity and skepticism. Today, Maggie is a restorer of old homes and too young to remember any of the events mentioned in her father's books, but she also doesn't believe a word of it. Ghosts, after all, don't exist. When Maggie inherits Bainbury Hall after her father's death, she returns to renovate the place to prepare it for sale. But her homecoming is anything but warm. People from the past, chronicled in House of Horrors, lurk in the shadows, and locals aren't thrilled that their small town has been made infamous thanks to Maggie's father. Even more unnerving, as Bainbury Hall itself, a place filled with relics from another era that hint at a history, as Maggie experiences strange occurrences straight out of her father's books, she starts to believe that what he wrote was more fact than fiction. Again, I'm so excited for haunted house vibes. I cannot wait. It sounds so fun. I then have The Reformatory, and after seeing the movie Sinners, I am excited to kind of dive into like historical thrillers. Like, I'm obsessed with those vibes. I need those vibes, and I need a drink, so Hold on. Like I was saying, okay, it says Gracetown, Florida, June 1950. 12-year-old Robbie Stevens Jr. is sentenced to 6 months at the Gracetown School for Boys, an institution for kicking the son of the largest landowner in town in defense of his own sister, Gloria. So begins Robbie's journey further into the terrors of the Jim Crow South and the very real horror of the school they call the Reformatory. Robbie has a talent for seeing ghosts or haints, but what was once a comfort to him after the loss of his mother has become a window into the truth of what happens at the reformatory. Boys forced to work to premeditate their so-called crimes have gone missing, but the haints Robbie sees hint at worse things. Through his friends, Redbone and Blue, Robbie is learning not just the rules, but how to survive. Meanwhile, Gloria is rallying every family member and connection in Florida to find a way to get Robbie out before it's too late. Yeah, I've heard amazing things about this one. I'm so excited. She's a thick one though, but I'm still so excited. Like, I need to read this soon. I need to read all of these soon. Like, there's just so many great ones that I just cannot wait to read. And to think that this is just thrillers. I have other genres that I want to get into too. I stress myself out. Oh my gosh. They're all going to get read sooner or later. So, it's fine. No big deal. Okay, another one that I'm super excited for. We have The Invocations. Just look at this cover. I'm obsessed with the look of it. Like, the black and pink is just so pretty. Okay, guys, this one sounds so good. Okay, it says, when a supernatural serial killer begins targeting witches, 3 young women from very different backgrounds must work together to hunt the killer down. Okay, this is a supernatural thriller. Like, it doesn't get better than that. It literally does not get better than that. Literally. It says, a witchy thriller filled with demons, curses, and young women who refuse to go quietly into the night. Period, 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 period. Yeah. Do I even need to read the synopsis? Like, that was good enough. That was good enough. I'm excited. I might need to read this next. I don't even know if I can wait. It says, a gorgeously twisted modern fairy tale that shimmers with magic and mystery. Oh my gosh. Like, no words, just reading. I need to read this as soon as possible. And then we have Such Sharp Teeth, a werewolf novel. It says, Rory Morris isn't thrilled to be moving back to her hometown, even when it's only temporary. There are bad memories there. But her twin sister Scarlett is pregnant, estranged from the baby's father, and needs support. So Rory returns to the place she thought she'd put in her rear view. After a night out at a bar where she runs into an old almost flame, she hits a large animal with her car. When she gets out to investigate, she's attacked. Rory survives, miraculously, but life begins to look and feel different. She's unnaturally strong, with an aversion to silver, and suddenly the moon has her in its thrall. She's changing into someone else, something else, maybe even a monster. But does that mean she's putting those close to her in danger? Or is embracing the wildness inside of her the key to acceptance? This dark, comedic love story is a brilliantly layered portrait of trauma, rage, and vulnerability. And this is Feminine Rage, and I cannot wait to read this. Also, another one I think I might have to read soon because, I don't know, I'm loving the supernatural element, supernatural thrillers. Where has this been all my life? Like, and then we have That's Not My Name by Megan Lally. The cover just gives me spooky fall night. Those vibes. It says, it was a mistake to trust him. Shivering and bruised, a teen wakes up on the side of a dirt road with no memory of how she got there or who she is. The police doesn't know where she came from until a frantic man arrives at the station. He's been searching for her for hours. He has her school ID, her birth certificate, and even family photos. He is her father. Her name is Mary, or so he says. When Lola slammed the car door and stormed off into the night, Drew thought they just needed some time to cool off, except Lola disappeared. Now his friends, the sheriff, and the whole town are convinced Drew murdered his girlfriend. Forget proving his innocence, he needs to find her. The longer Lola is missing, the fewer leads there are to follow, and the more danger they are both in. Yeah, this one just sounds so good. And I believe this is YA, so it just gives me the vibe that this is going to be very fast-paced. At least that's what I'm hoping. I love a fast-paced thriller because I need to be on the edge of my seat. Thank you very much. And then last but not least, we have The Sundown Motel. This, I believe, is a paranormal thriller, so I feel like it's going to give the same creepy, eerie vibes as like Haunted House, except this is Haunted Hotel, so low-key even better because it's reminding me of that hotel season of American Horror Story. I need to watch that this fall as well. It says, upstate New York, 1982. Viv Delaney wants to move to New York City, and to help pay for it, she takes a job as a night clerk at the Sundown Motel in Fell, New York. but something isn't right at the motel. Something haunting and scary. Upstate New York, 2017. Carly Kirk has never been able to let go of the story of her Aunt Viv, who mysteriously disappeared from the sundown before she was born. Carly decides to move to Phil and visit the motel, where she quickly learns that nothing has changed since 1982, and she soon finds herself ensnared in the same mysteries that claimed her aunt. It just sounds so good. So here are the 8 that I recommend. And here we have the 8 that I will be reading throughout this fall. Okay, that's all I have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you have made it up to this point in the video, you are a real one. But also comment down below this emoji, just because I like to see you watch my videos all the way through. And it's kind of like an inside joke that only besties know. So leave that down below so I know if you're besties or not. Also comment down below if you've read any of these books, your thoughts, your feelings, everything. And also let me know some of the thrillers that you are so excited to be reading this fall. Okay, I'm gonna go read. Love you guys so much.